Hello guys, and welcome back to another video. As you know, my name's Anaya, and if you are new, please hit that subscribe button before you continue this video. Also, like it if you like this video, because support the channel, support the fam. So this one was requested. It's a Krasno boy comfort fanfic. This one is kind of also a Tadashi X reader, because Tadashi's like my baby, so I just had to add him. But yeah, here we go. Oh, good morning, Lion. You turn around to find Hinata. Hinata had been your best friend since childhood. You were basically siblings, and you even knew his passion for volleyball went further than a favorite sport. Noticing a taller boy with black hair and a stank face beside him, you waved back and smiled at them both. You knew all too well it was just Kageyama. He looked like that every morning. They finally caught up to you, and you say, "Good morning, Hinata-kun," and Tobio-kun. You flash a bright smile. "Oh, it's too early in the morning for that. I can't handle you and Hinata." You and Hinata start laughing as Kageyama walks ahead. "Come on, you idiots. We're going to be late." You and Hinata run after Kageyama. The three of you approached Karasuno High School's entrance. You looked at Hinata, and he said, "See you in second period, Biscuit." You nod, and Hinata walks off. You actually had your first period with Kageyama and another boy from Karasuno High's volleyball team, so you and Kageyama started walking up and down the halls of Karasuno. Finally, you hit your classroom. Before walking in, you ask, "Hey, Tobio-kun?" He turns to you in response. "Do you think Yama-kun is here?" He grabs the handle of the classroom and says, "Probably, he's a nerd." You roll your eyes and laugh. You had only met the Krasno boys 2 weeks before today, but it had already felt like you were family. They were like your big brothers, and they sure acted like it, because conveniently, you were asked on a date last Friday and had told Hinata about this date. The day your date was supposed to occur, your phone blew up like you had just killed the queen of a beehive. Turns out, Hinata told everyone on the volleyball team, and now they were texting you to help out with something dumb and obviously made up situations to keep her from going. Though, you were really dense and caring, so you said you'd help and canceled your date. They were not happy about this, and needless to say, did not call you for a rain check. Only until the next day, a Sunday, did Nishinoya spill the beans. "Yeah, sorry about that. We couldn't just let anyone take you out. And besides, they have a reputation. Trust me, we did you a favor," he said, rubbing the back of his neck, closing his eyes and smiling. You were mad, but soon got over it because, there'll be others, you told yourself. Thank the heavens you also had a sort of older sister that you adored, the boys' manager, Shimizu. You walked into class and spotted Yamaguchi talking to some girl. You gritted your teeth and walked over without saying goodbye to Kageyama. He found this exceptionally rude and smirked. He felt proud as he took his seat in front of the corner by the door of the class. As you happily approached Yamaguchi and the girl he was having a conversation with, it seemed to be a really interesting one since he hadn't noticed you standing beside him. The girl noticed though. She glanced at you. You smiled, but then she continued talking to Yamaguchi. Okay, you thought as you tapped Yamaguchi on the shoulder to make yourself known, but as soon as he turned your way, the teacher walked in and the three of you rushed to your seats. You sat in the back middle row. Yamaguchi sat by the window on the left of you, and the girl he had been conversating with sat behind him. Kageyama observed the situation, but quickly gave his attention to the teacher when you walked in. You tried to study, but couldn't. Things at home weren't going so good. And you had not told anyone, not even your best friend Hinata. You didn't want pity, and you hated feeling like a burden. Your parents had just gotten a divorce, and Hinata perceived your change in attitude. That's when he decided it was time for you to meet his volleyball team. It cheered you up, and you forgot about your home life at school. But when you went home, you wished you could just disappear. With your parents constantly fighting, you hid in your room. All the screamings made your ears ache, and therefore, you were not able to get any work done for school. Your grades had been dropping rapidly, though being with the guys helped you cope. You tried to pay attention in class, and for the most part understood everything. In an attempt to get your work done, you started going to the gym after school with Hinata, watching them practice while you tried to get your homework done. Though, your dad started coming home at the same time as you, and he would always be tipsy. He yelled at you. You thought, this fucking divorce can't come fast enough. You were in the middle of 4th period, which you also had with Yamaguchi, and that girl. To be honest, you had never noticed her before, but now you couldn't keep your eyes off her, and just like in 1st period, you stared her down. Though, not really. She sat 2 seats in front and in the row next to you, so all you saw was the back of her head. You tried talking to Yamaguchi before class started, but this girl seemed to be... You shut down and searched deep in your mind for a word that would best describe her. You were thrust out of your lucid state, as you called it, and looked up at the hand grabbing your arm. You called this your lucid state because when you went into it, everything else went out the window. The real world seemed to dissolve into nothing compared to your mind. As you looked around, you saw pairs of eyes on you. Everyone in the room now had their focus on you. You felt red in the face and your cheeks lit up with embarrassment. Your teacher was yelling at you historically. Why in? Did you not hear me call your name? Your cheeks grew even redder as she continued. You were called to the office, now go. Right, miss. You could hear the tone of worry in your voice as you hurriedly collected your things and rushed out of class. As you passed the rows, you caught a glimpse of Yamaguchi's face. As if time had slowed, he looked at you with worry in his eyes. Minutes passed and you were still sitting in the waiting room chair. You scrolled through Fanagram in an attempt to reduce the fear you had in your eyes when you heard your principal's secretary say he was ready to see you in his office. You put your phone away and threw your back over your shoulders. Walking into his office, you saw the principal sitting in his chair facing down at his desk. He was reading something intensely, but as soon as you sat in front of him, he closed the folder. YNLN? He asked. You nodded your head and proceeded to ask why you were called into the office in the first place. Well, it seems your grades have slipped, and as he continued, his voice trailed off. Well, in your head, because you spaced out. All you could think about was your problems, that girl who eyed you like you were a disgusting piece of garbage, and this lecture did not help. Little did you know, Hinata had noticed you on your way to the office. You looked like you were about to cry a lot, as you did 2 weeks ago. Honestly, you didn't want to continue this act anymore. In the middle of his speech, you stood and walked out. He did not expect this from you. So instead of telling you off, he just sat there and watched you take your leave. When you got out of the office, you spotted Hinata, Yamaguchi, Tsukishima, Daichi, Nishinoya, Sugawara, Asahi, Kageyama, and the rest of the boys' volleyball team. They were huddled in a group, talking, but as soon as Kageyama pointed you out, they all turned to look at you. You glanced away and ran. They ran after you. You were a track star, so you ran pretty fast. Okay, I think I lost them, you thought, hiding behind a cement wall. You calmed your breathing and took a deep breath. As you let it out, you burst into tears. All this time you had been fighting to keep them at bay, but now you just couldn't control them anymore. Though you had no idea, your friends had found you, and they wanted to talk to you, ask if you were alright, but Hinata insisted on letting you have that one moment to yourself. This is all she needs, he said. And it was true, though you did want someone to be there for you as well. You wanted someone to comfort you and tell you everything was going to be alright. Believing you were alone, you decided to let everything out. You didn't care if you were at school. You just needed to let it out, once and for all. You stood, showing the slightest top of your head. They stared at you. You screamed. All the emotions you had been bottling up inside came out. You screamed until your lungs could no longer bear it. Not even the slightest bit satisfied, you sat back into your corner. The Krasno boys volleyball team sat through it all, and when you were done, they decided it was time to approach you. One by one, starting with Hinata, then Kageyama, then Daichi, and Sugawara. After came Asahi, Nishinoya, Tsukishima, and finally Yamaguchi. They all stood at you with pain torching their eyes. You watched as they made themselves visible. When Yamaguchi came into your sights, all you could do was cover your face and whimper some more. I'll be in class, you said, now moving your head from your arms, which silently lay on your knees. Your back once again facing the cement wall. Hinata moved towards you to rub your back, but Yamaguchi beat him to it. He had never moved so fast in his life. He was like a snake, silent and swift. As he rubbed your back, he spoke. First, it was just a word. Hey, he said. You continued to bury your face into your arms out of embarrassment. You didn't know why, though. Then Yamaguchi spoke again. Cry as much as you want. We're not going anywhere. You found the courage to look up. You saw his kind, gentle, soft face. You're all red. And your face, it's puffy. You buried your face into your arms for the third time. I meant I didn't. Thank you. You cut him off, and everyone else off guard. Thank you for everything. Daichi spoke. It was nothing. Besides, you're adorable either way. You cupped your mouth. You had just contained your tears, but now they wanted to come pouring out again. You shan and closed-eyed smile. You're cute when you're crying, but I prefer you smiling, Yamaguchi said. You blushed, though it wasn't noticeable due to your previous state. You turned away and felt bashful. You didn't know how to respond. The guys were surprised he had the balls to say that. He thought you were mad at him again, and even started waving his hands in front of him, trying to excuse what he said. All I meant was... Everyone smacked him on the back, and after you gave him a light punch in the arm, because if you were dense, then he was just clueless. The group of boys pulled you into a bear hug. You sat there for a while, in their arms, but now it was time to come back to reality. You stood, wiping the tears from your eyes once more, and smiled at them. They walked you back to class, making sure to lecture Yamaguchi about taking care of you. Well, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed that video. I had fun making it. I kind of had to make it up at the end because I don't know why, I just left it off with an and. So yeah. Also, you guys, there's a lot of people wanting me to do a Kenma part 4, so I might just do that. But I also wanted to do a one-shot. I also wanted to do a one-shot because, you know, Christmas is coming up and I kind of wanted to do, you know, a Christmas one with him. But a lot of you guys wanted me to do a part 4, so I'm gonna leave that in the description below for you guys to decide. Do you guys want a part 4 or do you guys want a Christmas one shot? So the part 4 will be the end of that series, but I do want to do more Kenma. I'm not going to stop doing him because I do feel like he's underrated, and I do feel like a lot of people just brush him off like, no, he's like dude, he's like the whole show. Okay, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Bye guys. And then you won't. You say you love me, then you don't. You keep me running and running around.